Hi guys and hello boys and girls, that's me Robbie from EasyIdioms.com, and in today's video we're going to look at the following English idiomatic expression, common denominator. Well, as a matter of fact, common denominator is a maths term, and I only found out about that a few months ago when I was helping one of my daughters do her homework in maths, but prior to that I would only use this expression, common denominator, to describe something that people have in common, for instance. And common denominator basically means common characteristics of people, typically, but it doesn't necessarily have to be people involved. It can be applicable in just about any situation when you discuss things, certain things as well. But normally I would use it when I have to explain that certain people share a similar trait or characteristics, or basically that they have something in common. And here's an example. Common denominator of all foreigners living in Ireland, and I live in Ireland myself. I've been living here for 11 years now, right? So common denominator of all these foreigners having come to this country is that they've all come down here in search of better life, better paid jobs, basically money, right? But many of us foreigners settle down in this country, let down our roots, so to speak, and have families and have children and so on and so forth, and basically we just get used to this way of life, and money stops being the common denominator, if you like, of our presence here in this country. But predominantly, in the very beginning, when we all made the decision to come down here, money was the primary reason why we made the decision, right? So that's the common denominator of all foreigners living here in Ireland, and I would imagine the same goes with just about any English-speaking country in the world, where there's plenty of foreigners. United States and England and Australia and you name it. So that was the first example sentence. And here's another example. Common denominator of all people visiting my website. Did you hear? I was going to say website. It's a typical mistake I've been making throughout my whole life. Confusing the two letters V and W. In my language, in Latvian, there is no such sound as W, right? Well, there is, but the word website begins actually with V in Latvian. It's websites in Latvian, right? In English, it's website. And I was almost going to say website. But it's a mistake, and mistakes are to be embraced. That's one of the cornerstones of the English harmony philosophy. Basically, you have to embrace your mistakes. Make a mistake, but make no big deal about it. You know what I mean? It's just a mistake. You'll learn by making mistakes. Anyway, common denominator of everyone who visits my website. And here's another reason that I'm sorry. I'm just I just keep straying off the main subject, which is the example sentence, right? But why I was going to say the word beginning with the wrong sound, website, was because visitors of the website, right? So the sound has to alternate between V and W. We. Visitors of the website. Visitors of the website. So just because I said visitors, that kind of forced me into saying visitors of the website, you know what I mean? So it's Spoonerism in a way. Spoonerism is when you swap syllables of two words or sounds, and then you get all sorts of weird combinations, right? Basically, it's coinage of new words almost, but in this case, it was something remotely similar to Spoonerism, right? But anyway, back to the main subject. Common denominator of all visitors coming to my website is that they're all foreigners, just like me, and they're all seeking for fluency, improving related information. Basically, they're people who want to speak fluently. They're okay with their reading and understanding. However, their fluency skills aren't that great. So that's the common denominator of everybody who who visits, I was going to say everybody who visits my website. You see, it's a little bit weird, but that's what happens. Sometimes our mind plays tricks on us, but these things have to be taken easy, or easily, to be more precise, because if you start worrying about your mistakes, that's when you allow the fluency problem get better of you, and that's when you start hesitating and you start getting stuck for words and so on and so forth. If you make mistakes like that, just ignore that fact. Just laugh about it, just the way I do. And that will help you to overcome your fluency issues for sure, my friend. Right? So, common denominator, basically, in all those cases where people have overcome these fluency issues and have gained fluency, is the fact that they've gained some confidence and have started ignoring all those bad feelings, bad emotions, and they don't allow themselves to get desperate just because on a certain day they can't speak English properly. They just ignore that, brush it off, and just look forward and just keep working on their fluency, and that's a common denominator of everybody who succeeds as a foreigner who's been struggling and then improves their English fluency, right? If you want to join the crowd, if you want to become like me and hundreds of other foreigners who've improved their fluency, you have to just tell yourself, listen, I'm going to ignore my mistakes from now on, and I'm going to ignore all the bad feelings others might feel towards me as a foreigner, and I'm just going to ignore that, and I'll be smiling all the time, no matter how bad my English becomes on a particular day, right? So if you share that common denominator, your chances of success will just skyrocket, my friend. So that's about everything for today. Common denominator basically is something that you have in common with someone else, for instance, right? But as I said, it's a math term, but you don't necessarily have to know what it really means. It's what it actually is say if you have fractions, then common denominator is a number that those fractions can be divided by, or something like that. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But you needn't know that. If you use this word in this particular context as a way of describing something that a group of people, for instance, have in common denominator, that's fine. You don't need to know the maths-related term. And that's what's so great about contextual learning of the English language, right? You just learn what that phrase common denominator means contextually, and you don't necessarily have to know the exact meaning of it in purely technical terms, right? So if you start using the word combination common denominator from now on in the way I told you today, you'll become just by that little bit more fluent, my friend, alright? Thanks for watching this video, and see you soon again. Bye-bye.